In what ways does your media product use, develop, or challenge forms and conventions of real media products? Front cover. The cover of my magazine uses conventions found in similar media products such as the house style, the layout of my cover lines all on one side, and the anchorage of my main cover line. The colours on different sized fonts are used to highlight the more important cover lines. This is another convention that is found in publications I have come across during my research and planning, such as XXL and Vibe magazine. I identified the convention of XXL's strong masthead and decided to use and very slightly develop on it. As you can clearly see, the red background and white bold sans serif text is part of the convention I used. And then coming up with a word rather than just 3 letters for my masthead is part of the convention that I developed. The masthead on XXL magazine is also sometimes covered slightly by the main image, which is a characteristic I used to show that my magazine is established. Just beneath the masthead is the date. On most similar media products, there is not a date near the masthead. This is a convention I challenged by deciding to put the date by the masthead instead of on the barcode, where it is usually found on similar media products. To add a little more personality to the cover, I added in a plus sign, which is a convention I identified and used from Vibe magazine. This was to give the magazine something a bit different than just plain text. My anchor and cover line consists of bold sans serif text in 2 different colours. This is a convention that was inspired by Vibe magazine, as they too do this with their cover lines. However, both of the Vibe and XXL magazines that I had looked at had their main cover lines in 1 colour. I decided to challenge this convention and continue to mix and match the colours using my colour scheme consisting of black, red and white. I added a drop shadow on the main cover line to make it more visible in front of my image. Just below the main cover line is a type of footer. This was a strong convention I had found on XXL's magazine, and I thought it would fit in perfectly and add more of a hip-hop personality to the cover, which is why I decided to use this convention. My barcode is located on the right hand side, again like XXL, however they do move it around, but this is rare. It provides the audience with the pricing information as well as the web address for the magazine. My main image is a medium close-up shot which expresses a hip-hop and R&B genre. It has a lot of mise-en-scène, such as the red lipstick to complement and contrast the masthead and some parts of the cover lines. The clothes the artist is wearing also contributes towards the R&B genre. The mise-en-scène relates to the R&B genre due to the very sexualized female artist. Many similar media products use sexualized images of artists to portray a hip-hop and R&B genre. The artist is also wearing a lot of chains, rings and has a hat on. These are all conventions I used from XXL magazine. However, I have challenged nearly all hip-hop magazines by having a white female rather than a black male or female artist on the cover line of my magazine. The fact that I used a white female artist added a twist to the magazine, preventing it from looking like a complete typical hip-hop cover. I challenged the convention of using a black male or female artist simply because I used so much of XXL's conventions to make it look like a typical hip-hop and R&B magazine, so to make it a bit different I used a white female. The artist is directly addressing the audience as she looks straight into the camera. This is a convention that I used within similar media products to attract the attention of the audience. When taking this picture, I allowed myself to have enough space on the left-hand side to place all my cover lines. This is a characteristic that I identified on a XXL front cover that I decided to use. The background is a cream colour. This was not entirely conventional, as most publications would have a strong one-shade background colour or a completely white background. In my case, I decided to challenge this convention as I was not focusing on the background colour as much, since it didn't need to be changed for my cover lines to sit on. Contents page. The layout of my contents page has been strongly inspired by the XXL's contents pages. I have used many of their strong conventions to produce my contents page, such as the design of their title, the features banner, where the date is located, and next to it is the XXL masthead. If you look at my contents page, you will see the obvious similarities and conventions I have used and some aspects that I have developed. My features banner is black with multiple coloured text on top. I was inspired by the conventions used by XXL and decided to use them myself. Alongside the black banner is my magazine logo, which again is a convention I found and used from XXL. I wanted my heading to have a slight twist to it rather than it being a bog standard contents page. Due to my contents page using so many conventions from XXL, I thought their dash between the A side would finish off the look, so I included a dash in between the word contents for my heading. I included a small red banner with white text to indicate the main cover line story. I made sure this was at the top of the page, as it would be seen as most important. Beneath the cover story, I have included a black divider to give the text a bit of structure. I used bold text for the stories and page numbers, and then a lighter and smaller text for the story information. This convention can be found in pretty much all media products. The page numbers have been created in a slightly larger text to easily navigate readers. I also included a medium shot of another artist, part of a story that is completely independent to the main cover story. This shot slightly challenged the usual conventions of similar media products, as it is not a long shot and again has nothing to do with the main story. Just next to my image, I have included an enticing caption quoted from an article. Usually, similar media products would have quoted and had images of the artist from the main story. However, I have challenged this convention by quoting an artist from a different story. The caption's function is to draw in the audience to give them information about other stories which would lead them into purchasing the magazine. All the text I have used for this page is in sans serif, which is an extremely popular convention within similar media products. The foot of the page is lined with a black banner locating white sans serif text to let the audience know the photographer's name. Just in front of this is a small red square homing two white triangles. I identified these two conventions from XXL and decided to use them in my contents page to give it another extra little feature and mainly to add a bit more personality. Double page spread. My double page spread was inspired by a completely different media product that I had been looking at. My front page and contents page were highly inspired by XXL and some of Vibe's conventions, whereas my double page spread swayed more to the style and used more conventions from Volume Now magazine. It was inspired by the layout and creativeness of their double page spread featuring Solange Knowles. This is why I decided to use their convention. I began with editing and cutting out 9 different images of my artist and then placed them on a strip along the top of both pages. This convention was a favourite of mine from the Now magazine double page spread. I placed the images along the top of the 2 pages and added a white rectangle on top of all the images. With the Photoshop tools and skills I had gained, I set the opacity level, giving it a black and white effect. This is a characteristic I developed due to the original Now magazine using the black and white effect for the whole page, whereas I just had a strip of slight black and white, making all the images faint in colour, and leaving the main image in its true colour. I also found that Now magazine had many black bars to section off the images from the article. Seeing this, I decided to use this convention. All my text is in black sans serif text. In my article, I have included a short interview where I changed the questions to bold sans serif text, and the answers stay in regular sans serif text. This convention can be found in nearly all of the similar media products I have researched, such as XXL and Vibe, and many more, as it is a widely used convention. I have also used a drop capital, as many similar media products include this in their article, to add a bit more personality to the page. I have included a pull quote on the right hand side page for many reasons, such as many media products use this convention to grab the reader's attention, which is why I thought this would be a good convention to use. Also, it is helpful in a way, as it fills in some white space and the double page spread. I used a black bold sans serif font for this pull quote. Along the bottom is a footer which is similar to the one on the contents page, due to its colours showing consistency through the magazine. The footer includes the date, name of the magazine, and the page numbers for easy navigation. On the top left hand side again is the masthead, continuing with the convention used by XXL and pretty much all other media products. Overall, I think my double page spread is conventional and uses many conventions identified on similar media products such as Volume Now, XXL and Vibe magazine. It represents more strongly an R&B genre than hip hop, which is slightly less conventional but not extremely different.